Helens. Prediction time quickly. John Wilkin, Danica Preem, who wins this one?
It's St Helens for me, too strong.
I'm flipping what I said before. Leeds Rhinos are going to edge at this one.
Well, that would be music, I should say, to the ears of the small band of Leeds Rhinos travelling fans. Let's go to our commentary team now. There's a Leeds Rhinos legend, Barry McDermott, joining Dave Woods. Good evening, Dave.
Hi, Brian. Well, two clubs of immense pedigree. St Helens could go back top tonight. Leeds could move within 2 points of top spot as well. So it says a lot about the expectations at both, that there are mutterings of discontent amongst both sets of fans, and some of that can be put to bed tonight by one side or the other here, Barry.
Dave, we could get anything tonight. And in summary, in one sentence, what the two guys before the game said: if this game blows out, Saints will run in some tries and score some fabulous, entertaining tries. But if the Rhinos can score early, if they can keep it tight, then they're in with a chance.
There's a startling stat that you might have caught in the build-up here. Leeds have only won one of their last 17 league and cup meetings against St Helens, and that was that narrow one you might remember last year. Blake Austin's late drop goal, St Helens 24, Leeds 25, which is an astonishing stat given these two's rivalry in the summer era. Anyway, St Helens in possession, early stages, chance to build a platform here. Daryl Clark in at dummy half, skipping it back. Lewis Dodd, who we've had confirmed in the last couple of weeks, will be leaving for the NRL next year, of course, so will want to finish his career on a high. And here's a man on debut, Matty Russell, with the first carry back into the heart of that St Helens defence. On loan from Warrington, of course, Matty Russell.
First touch for Matty Russell. His work out of backfield will be crucial, vitally important. Ash Hanley and Lewis Roberts, they're the latest player on the ball. That back five, all got to look for work, all got to gain ground. And in that last set, first defensive set for the Rhinos, I'm interested in the intensity and the aggression that they defended. A lot of questions, both in terms of people on the terraces and our colleagues in the media as well, questioning whether they've got the heart and the ability to defend with vigour.
Oh, Frawley with a little bit of a dummy there, tries to creep his way through. But he has been put down on the last, so here comes the kick from Croft. It's going to land into the hands safely of Jack Welsby, but that's a good chase from Leeds. St Helens start from a very difficult position.
Especially early in this game, you see Jared O'Connor, everybody, if they can match the intensity of Jared O'Connor, the speed of Jared O'Connor in defence, then there's some punishment there.
Looking for a bit of width here, started right, finished mid-left, Wonga Blake put down. St Helens loading up that left-hand side and going to have another go here through Percival, who's well met. Looking to work their way out of trouble. Clark in there again. Just shifting it through Bell and Welsby, and here comes another effort. Pacula striding in, but Leeds have restricted go forward here.
Just 21 metres, Dave.
Yep, last play, so Dodd's forced to kick very much deep inside his own half, and here comes a second carry from Matty Russell to try and put Leeds back on the front foot, but well chased down and dealt with by Clark.
Obviously, the game within the game is the territorial battle that Saints are so good at. They love being in the grind, they love kicking into corners and putting pressure on their opponents defensively. The Rhinos have got to match them.
Here's Roberts, Lewis Roberts with the offload, and Miller's there as well, hunting a little bit of space behind, but Saints closing down. O'Connor, Frawley, the Saints defence moving up very quickly there to shut down the options for Frawley, who's having to take it on himself before he's stopped. And now O'Connor again. Smith using Sangaré as a foil, but not bought. And now they're on the last. So it's with O'Connor, looks right, into the hands of Croft, who keeps it alive here. There's an opportunity to run. It's back with Croft again. Croft with a little kick towards that corner. It's chased down by Newman, but has he got it? No, he hasn't. He'll claim, but referee says no way, and it's a tap back on the 20.
That's a dead set chance gone begging there. Brodie Croft, if he'd have just had a look off his left shoulder, it was a good 5 metres, but Jared O'Connor in support could have been the opening points of the game.
Well, they had a terrible finish against Catalan. He was admitting to that, Rowan Smith, and he was chatting to Jenna a little earlier. But they very nearly had a very bright start here against St Helens of Leeds. St Helens regrouping and bringing it forward in the arms of Serena. Clark having to wait patiently here. Paul Wellens, the St Helens coach, just looking on and wondering whether this is to be a night of a famous victory. Wellesby back inside to Hurrell, and Conrad Hurrell, who I'm pretty sure loves playing against his former club. Makes a bit of a dent.
He loves playing, doesn't he? Big smile on his face, whichever team he represents. Big character, Connacht.
Well, St Helens have covered some ground here, and Clark's anxious to cover a bit more. Inside 15 metres, but with only one play to go. Wellesby's the man at the helm at dummy half and goes blind again, and Batchelor had a look on the outside. There was nobody there, but Dodd's back on the inside, and Leeds defence had to recover very quickly. Almost a sneaky one down that blind side.
Well, if we said that the Brodie Croft break was a chance, I think that was a chance too. A sneaky little look down the blind side. He thought that the winger would have held his chalk, and Tommy Makinson was inside, but all action at the beginning. Well, you can see with the pain on his face, he went down awkwardly. Now, they are light on the bench, St Helens. If you compare the two benches, Noah Stevens was really impressive in the last run out against Cass. But they're quite light on the bench, St Helens.
Yeah, George Delaney, Ben Davis, another relative youngster, and Noah Stevens, who's
Ben Davis
18 years of age.
as well.
Yeah, and Moses Mbai, that's making up their bench.
Moses Mbai can cover the halves, he can cover hooker, can cover fullback, but I'd be surprised if he comes back onto the field. You can see
this. Yeah, just an entanglement of legs as he went down there, didn't he, with Roberts? I think there was anything intended there.
Yeah.
Not suggesting that, but
no, you can see how the ankle goes underneath, but whenever anybody sees a defender around the back of a ball carrier, there's always that sneaking suspicion. Let's have a look at it and make sure it's nothing sinister.
George Delaney has come on in his place, and Leeds back in possession. So this opening's 5.5 minutes has given us a bit to talk about so far, but no points.
It's not too much of a reshuffle for St Helens. Delaney will go in the front row, and Matautia will revert to the back row. So it doesn't hamper them too much, but it's within that rotation it may affect them later.
This is Aledski angling in, trying to put a dent on that advancing St Helens line. O'Connor out a dummy half again. Smith puts it back, and Croft's involved and looks for the big cutout pass to Newman, who's looking to shake off
he's dropped that.
The attentions, and in so doing, he has given away the mistake and has given St Helens a bit of a leg up here.
Yeah, he's been out for a while, Harry Newman. So much of the strike is reliant upon Harry Newman being in the clear. His winger, let's be honest, Matty Russell, Harry Newman would have only had a handful of training sessions together. He wasn't there, but Harry Newman's instinct every time is to run. It was just great work from St Helens in defence. Dislodged the ball, error forced, possession to St Helens.
So latest score at Castleford, Cass with an early lead, 6-0 against Hull FC. Remember, they were the last game they played, Cass, it was very tight against St Helens. Right through till half-time, more or less, and then they conceded 52 unanswered points, so they won't be counting their chickens at this stage, the Tigers. Let's not mixing metaphors. But St Helens have got a platform from which to work here. This is Hurrell, just to try and put Leeds more on the back foot. Clark out of dummy half. It's Dodd who collects. Lomax is running left, but then the tackle on Sirinen. But they've still got tackles in the back here. Half the play still to come, and here's the freshness of Delaney, who's only just on from the bench. And Clark measures up, and you can feel a bubble of expectation amongst these Saints fans. It's out to Sirinen, who almost bounces his way through. Back it comes to Lomax, and Leeds have done really well there to regather what seemed to have been a lost cause. But there's one play to go. Last play, back with Dodd. We'll kick it back to where it came. But it's going to be a simple take for Newman on the far side, but starting in an awkward position.
A relief for Harry Newman. Ultimately, his mistake handed possession over, but a nice little bit of invasion for St Helens, testing the resilience and the goal line defence of Leeds Rhinos in these early stages.
There's Miller with a carry. Here's O'Connor waiting again. Little chip over the top by Croft. This is adventurous, and straight into the hands of Ash Handley. And here's danger for the St Helens defence. Handley outside, back on the inside. Brilliant recovering tackle from Tommy Makinson. But it's Leeds who have all the momentum. Roberts will pick it up. Inside for Frawley. Now it goes to Miller. Miller has a look. Doesn't fancy the right, so comes back left. Aledzki straightens up, bowls it away. Croft again. Quick hands from Martin. Here's Hanley to try and finish what he started. And he has. He has. They'll go to the big screen. The referee will ask the question. Let's have a listen.
Mate, we are on tackle 4. We have a try.
He thinks
We
try,
just
stop
confirm
signal.
He does get the
So
ball
let's
to the line,
hear
please,
from
Tom.
the video referee. Tom Grant.
So it's tackle 4 with a try on field. We're just checking grounding, please. So we're nice and slow on this one. This is the angle we need. He's still in possession at this point. Can I just see an angle from the side, possibly a handheld on that side? Then my decision.
Well, he started the season in prolific style, didn't he, Ash Hanley? And that is a try that he started all the way from the back. And a helping hand at the finish as well. Wonderful finish from Ash Hanley. What a start. What a creative try that was from Leeds.
Absolutely. Love to see the bravery and the courage. And we used to seeing plays like this from Leeds Rhinos. Whether they come off or not, it's 50-50. Whether Ash Hanley was onside or not, they don't wait around. The touch judge was in line, he was happy with it. And from this point here, it's a nice little bump and offload by Aledzki. Brodie Croft integral with that kick. And the man that started it all had a lot to do. Conrad Hurrell, who's a big human being, and Jack Welby, who's sensational in defence, week in, week out. My word, we've got two of the best wingers in Super League on show tonight in Tommy Makinson and Ash Hanley, and it's Ash Hanley who gets the first notch.
Well, here's Rhys Martin with a kick from the touchline. You can normally back him to strike it between the uprights, and if you've backed him this time, you've got your returns, because he extends the lead to 6 points to 0. Rowan Smith looks fairly settled at the moment, but this is a bright start from the Rhinos.
It's a terrific finish, isn't it? He leans in. We heard Ryan Hall a couple of weeks ago about preserving space. He leans into defenders, uses the weight of those two defenders, just keeps his feet, keeps his studs in the ground, and gets that ball down. But what bravery from the Leeds Rhinos. We see that week in, week out. When it comes off, it's sensational.
Castleford now doubling their lead, 12 points nil against Hull FC. See Herman Esse, I think he's been banned for about 6 weeks, hasn't he, as well? So Hull's problems are continuing. But what a start from Leeds. But then there are many who saw this reverse fixture in the league a few weeks back and would have told you then what a start from Leeds. But St Helens dug deep and won that match. So
that round 5, Gav, when you watch that round 5, I know that Catalan for the Rhinos, from their perspective, was a good win and a good performance, but I think arguably the better performance was 60 minutes against St Helens. So I'm not surprised they've started well. I'm not surprised that they've took the lead. They've just got to keep it up now. But St Helens are a world-class team with superb individuals. We'll have a say in that.
There's Croft and now O'Connor, and back it comes to Frawley, who gets the kick away ahead of the advancing defenders. Wellesby in safely, as you'd expect, and Wonga Blake looking to stand up the chasing defenders, but not to be stood up is James McDonald, who makes sure of his man. And Saints, well, Wonga Blake just clapping the face of O'Donnell there.
He's in good confidence at the minute, Wonga Blake, hasn't he? Had an interesting few weeks. Sensational performance for him at Castleford last time out. He fights hard for the play of the ball. Yeah, unnecessary, but forwards and backs, eh?
Well, I suspect McDonald might just have put that in the filing cabinet.
I suspect that will be readdressed at some point, Dave.
So St Helens with a chance to build back inside their opponent's half. Darryl Clark is the man at dummy half, and Dodd will help it on its way. Here comes Bell and Lomax, and Hurrell tries to straighten things up, but Ash Handley, no, he's got a handful tonight.
Moving the ball so well early, aren't they? Not tying the ball up midfield, even though they dropped Matty Lees under, who Worked for 80 minutes, toiled for 80 minutes last time out. Moving the ball and testing the edge defenders.
Clark to Lomax, and Lomax making that break and almost delivering back. He has delivered it back, and Clark carries it on. Just about holds on. St Helens in great position here now. Matotia at dummy half. To Dodd. Here's Bell. Bell with that iconic footwork of his, but Leeds close him down. 1 play to go. This is Clark. Now it's with Dodd. Numbers coming. Wellesby helping out, chiming in from fullback. Going down, has to keep it alive, somehow does. It's another set, another set. Leeds got a hand on that. Here's Percival, he flicks it back. Now it's with Delaney, who just simply straightens up the young fella, and he's still going. So 6 from here. Clark now, feigns right, goes left. Dodd has a look, short pass, a big urge from Sirenen. Has he kept control on that as he touched it down? We're back to the video referee.
Tackle. I have no try. Tom, can you just confirm?
Wow.
It does come out of his possession just before he gets to the line, please, mate.
Well, this will infuriate Lockie Miller because he picked it up, was about to go 100 yards if it's no try.
Okay, so we're on 0 tackle with no try on field. We're just checking grounding. And we've been knock on field.
I've got a referral to make, that's all, so.
So it's clear in possession at this point, and we're well short of the line. Just need to confirm whether that ball makes the line or not. Ball appears to be short there. We're going to try another angle. This will tell us more. So he's falling, he's in possession at this point. The ball is short of the line. Does that ball come away from the palm of the hand and onto the arm?
Wow.
Got a live called no try. We've got anything else from the other side? So tell us. In possession. The ball is short of the line there and comes away from the hand. I've got a decision.
Could have gone either way. Could have gone either way, but it's going to disappoint the majority in here.
Cheers, mate.
It is no try.
You're right, it could have gone either way, but it should have gone the way of a try. It started off short. I don't think he loses possession as it touches the line.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that angle does tell a slightly different story.
I think it depends what colour scarf you're wearing, Barry, as to whether
not
that
wearing
was a try.
scarf.
I know you're not, but in terms of all those out there.
Middle of the summer, Woodsy.
Let's lock in, boys, please.
Although summer was last week, we had it. Beautiful 5 days it was. Yeah,
So no try.
I think as we watch that, it could have gone either way, and I think they probably got it right.
Lee, Huddersfield still looking for a first home win this season, trailing early against Lee, 6-0. Leeds working their way out of trouble here. So let's go down to Jenna. We saw Batchelor going off earlier with an injury. Jenna, what news?
Yeah, evening, Dave. That was after 5 minutes of this game. I'm told he's still being assessed, but it looks like it's an ankle sprain. Now, when you look at the forwards that St Helens are currently missing, you've got Alex Wormsley, Morgan Knowles, Jake Wingfield. Ignatius Parsi is due to be back in the coming weeks. Matt Whitley, another one on the sidelines. It's a massive blow if Joe Batchelor's out for an extended period, isn't it?
It is. Iggy Parsi was named in the 21 this week. He played in the reserves last week, suggesting he might have been fit today, but obviously not. But as Jenna says, not far away. But St Helens having to do it forward light at the moment.
There are so many different things you have to deal with in the modern game. Yellow cards, red cards, injuries, head injury assessments. Modern day play has to be so adaptable and fit many moulds.
Well, when you've got these stones flying out of the catapults in the shape of Percival and Makinson when they're clearing the lines, that just helps a little, doesn't it, with the go forward. Here's Wellesby. Well, they've only got 2 plays to go, and they're still 10 short of the halfway line here. It's back with Bell. Little spring in his step as ever, but can't get away from the reach of Martin. Now it comes to Dodd, forced to kick on the last. end over end. Underneath it is Russell, takes it safely, decent chase by St Helens. Leeds start from there.
It's just rinse and repeat, isn't it, for St Helens? 4 or 5 tackles, gain the meters, look to kick and look to pressure in defence. It's been a good start by both teams. Leeds in front on the scoreboard, but St Helens through Sirinen have proved that once they get down here, if they can get a succession of tackles, build that pressure, they'll get over the try line too.
So Connery takes it in. Miller picks up and springs it back towards the middle again, and Leeds edging. Little bounce of the ball doesn't help things for Croft, so he has to have no option, had to just run that him himself.
Just look at those meters made, 17 for the Rhinos.
Frawley comes left, and now it's Martin. They might be making more meters here. Little kick for Roberts to chase, and he gets a thigh on that. Dropped down on by Handley. It's still the 5th, not played out. They've thrown it away. Bell has it back for St Helens.
It's kick pressure from St Helens. Almost makes the minds up for the Rhinos. They try a risky edge play, go to a kick, and it's a nothing kick. And Saints there over the halfway line. I don't know what Lewis Roberts is supposed to do with that.
It's hard to criticise them shaking the dice when they did it earlier and it ended so spectacularly well, but here we go.
It's getting the balance right, Dave, isn't it? When it's on and when it's not on.
Clark at a dummy half, moving things on quickly here. Wellesby now, the short ball for Lees to crash onto. What a platform, but only 2 to go. Clark again. Wellesby, Lomax, quick hands, Hurrell, it bounces through him and into Tommy Makinson, who's straightening things up. Last play. This is Darrell Clark. Back to Bell and Dodd, and a sliding kick through for Wellesby to chase, but Miller's back there to palm it away to safety.
There were enough Leeds shirts in the picture, but because of the commitment in that chase, Wellesby, with 3 players around him, none of those Rhinos players confident enough to pick the ball up and have a crack at getting back in the field of play. They actually hit it from the field of play. That's the threat and the danger of Jack Wellesby.
10 seconds.
We nearly lost Barry off the gantry there as he reproduced Lockie Miller's palming to safety. Dropout.
There was an ironic cheer
I was going to
because it was
say
a long dropout.
Was that the Leeds fans?
Yeah, not a short one. Short kickoffs, short dropouts.
Lockie Miller fell foul to that, didn't he, a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
This is a straightener by Lees. Darrell Clark just having a look around. He's got time to have a look around to decide his next move. Lomax has drifted towards that left-hand side, and here he is now on the pass from Dodd, and Wellesby chiming in again. Back with Percival, cutting in. That's a good offload by him to keep things alive. Wellesby, dummies to Bell, dummies to Delaney, dummies to them all, and then gives it to Conrad Hurrell, who barges, and a bit of momentum on his side. He's a hard man to deal with. Clark again picks up, scoots away, dummies. They were waiting, anticipating. Bell wants to take this position on again. Back to Dodd. Now Lomax. Lomax stepping, running, still stepping, slipped in the end. And one to go. Clark again. In there. Dodd to his left, but right he comes to Wellesby. Wellesby's cute little kick, but it's Frawley who's plucked it out of the air. He's not going to go the distance, but had he got the pass away to Handley, he might have. And instead, it's Saints who get it back.
That's poor, that, Dave. That's really poor. An experienced player like Matt Frawley should know better than that.
Oh, here's Bell springing onto that lovely pass from Hurrell. Quickly played. Hurrell comes right. Hurrell, and then gets the pass away to Matortia. And Sione Matortia will wrestle his way over, and Leeds will look at themselves as being more than partially to blame for leaking points there. But St Helens' pressure tells.
You've got to respect possession when you're playing against St Helens. They just managed to get the ball back. Yes, if the pass is good, is caught, there's a break made. You see St Helens kick goes in, it goes right into the arms of the halfback. And whilst in the action of passing that ball, the attention of St Helens defensively means it's an ugly pass. It's an awkward pass. And what do? Straight on the attack. Some lovely stuff from St Helens, and players pushing up into the next space, making themselves available, means that they're always a threat. Not just the player carrying the ball, it's the player next to him, and those St Helens players hungry for work, hungry to support, and doing some of those selfless acts that make them such a great team to watch.
Well, they had the win of the sails, but it's all become now from Leeds' point of view. But St Helens are suddenly the side that look as though they could be just hitting the ascendancy here.
Got to respect possession. You cannot afford to hand it over after a period of defence. There's no surprise that the Rhinos have done 30 more tackles in the first quarter of this game. That's a lot of extra work, mentally and physically.
72% success prediction here, probability. Mark Percival settles himself and lives up to those expectations with a wonderfully struck kick. And we're all square again at 6 points apiece.
Yeah, you'd like to think that the talk behind the sticks was about a good reaction from this mistake. Now, St Helens, the champion side that they are, Conrad Hurrell gets rid of a defender, rides a tackle and feeds Matautia. That'll settle the nerves of the home team.
Yeah, Hull got to try back. Cas 12, Hull 6. Live on Sky Sports Mix that game. A feast of rugby league. Every single game live on Sky Sports from the very start of the season. A big night, Hull against Hull KR, all the way through to the grand final at Old Trafford on October the 12th.
That's great work from O'Connor in defence. Up early, up quick on Suriname.
Here's Percival, firing it again. This is Clark who picks up, and across the line it comes here, but Leeds defence will work with it. So Jenna, what's the latest news down there?
I've just spoken to St Helens doctor about Joe Batchelor's injury, and they have confirmed that it is ankle ligament damage. It doesn't look good. There he is. He does not look impressed, does he?
That's a massive blow, isn't it, for him personally?
Give 10, James, Johnny.
One of the real likeable characters, isn't he?
Of course, the Batchelor boys are doing wonderful things for St Helens and Hull KR respectively.
One, move, no seconds.
Two honest, hard-working players, and they'll be missed.
Very talented players as well, aren't they, on the choir? That's what's coming up this weekend on Sky Sports, that Catalan-Warrington game on Action Saturday night.
Right now, boys.
Warriors-Dolphins early on Sunday. London Hull KR 2:55, and Salford against Wigan also at 2:55 on Sunday. This is Smith backing in. They've reached the last, so O'Connor will be looking to feed Croft here, who gets the kick away. Blake covering a bit of distance to make sure he's in a safe position to catch, and almost bursting through. Oh, and he's lost it. He's lost it.
No, Gudemond had a hand in that. Yeah. Tackle complete. I don't think he did it deliberately, Gudemond. He runs strong, doesn't he? Runs strong, upright, goes through the tackle of Harry Newman. He might have done it deliberately, and if he did, how we hope to get away with that, I do not know.
There's Dodd with a kick. And St Helens have a chance to build again.
Just think back to what Rowan Smith said before the game about mistakes in contact, handing possession over easily. They've done that a couple of times already.
Move! Square now! Hold him, Mikhail.
It's been an up and down year, hasn't it, for Leeds? This is Bell. Matautia.
I just love the way that Saints have 1, 2, 3 options. Every time the ball carrier looks, he's got somebody available to him.
There's a hand on the shoulder by Roberts. Ain't going to stop Matty Lees, so it takes 3 more behind for him to be dealt with properly. Clark at dummy half. Again, just expectations rising a little here, given the position and given the wealth of talent that's coming the way here. And back to Percival, who crashes in and offloads, and Wellesby, not the cleanest of offloads, but Wellesby's there to take it in. Percival. A bit of movement down that blind side. Dodd works back that way. Skips it away to Percival again, getting very much involved here. Bounces in, bounces out. Has a look back to where he came from. One to go. Clark. Dodd. Catches, chips. Wonga Blake's moving in, and he tried to climb over the top of Leeds players. It's thrown away by Lockie Miller. Not convincingly in the first place, but it has gone dead.
Well, I don't know whether Matty Russell was trying to catch that ball in the in goal. Legs all over the place.
There's a case for offside there, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. Ball goes forward off Matty Russell into the fullback, Lockie Miller, who bats it over that back line. Either way, Saints will get the ball back.
13 minutes of the half remaining, just over. Locked together at 6-6, but St Helens beginning to turn up the heat again now. Dodd is back on the inside and running with all that enthusiasm. 20-year-old George Delaney crashes in.
He runs at 100. He's going to have to develop a sidestep, isn't he? Or a little shimmy. Him and Matty Lee's run at 1,000 miles an hour.
Noah Stevens is going to come off the bench tonight, you'd expect at some point. There's big expectations for him as well. This St Helens production line is pretty good, isn't it? Clark, Bell, looking back for Lees, but Bell takes it in himself. Strategically, like on a chessboard, moving themselves around here, St Helens, and now they go wide, and Earl can't take it, and Handley does, and Leeds will get the benefit of that knock-on and a chance to ready themselves for another big drive downfield.
Well, Conrad Hurrell has had a couple of good touches, just couldn't quite get to that ball. Lewis Roberts, as soon as that ball is in the air, he knows his target is Conrad Hurrell. He's got a lovely cut-out ball, Jack Wellesby. Really developed that skill over the last couple of years. But on that occasion, Conrad Hurrell wasn't good enough to get hold of it. But look at where the Rhinos are coming from. St Helens in the blocks, front foot forward, looking to attack while in defence.
You see in the background there, those Leeds supporters. Not a massive following from Leeds, it has to be said. There's some big games here down the years, where the away end has been filled. O'Connor. Oh, that's Percival. Percival came flying out of the line there. Talk about a read.
The timing
he didn't
on
miss,
that.
did he?
No, it is hurt Matty Russell.
Whoa. Matty Russell still thinks he's got a Warrington shirt on. He doesn't know where he is.
Percival did that a couple of weeks ago and ended up getting it slightly wrong, ended up getting a red card. It was against Salford, wasn't it? But I think in the action of making that tackle, there's a clash and a collision. It could be a lower limb, it could be a knee or a shin or a thigh. You can see the flex in the knee, it could be a dead leg.
Well, here's a concern for Rowan Smith.
But he times that so well, Mark Percival. Occasionally he does get it wrong, but he's rattled, isn't he? And he's getting some communication with the medical team.
So imagine that gives you as much of a buzz as scoring a try, putting a hit on like that.
And it lifts everyone else as well, Dave. There is nothing worse as a ball carrier. Your focus is on the ball. You're trying to watch the ball and watch it into your hands, and the minute you catch it, whack.
Well, Matty Russell is up, but he's going to be needing help to get off, and here's the reason why.
Yeah, knee on knee. Well, that's a disaster for Leeds. We've got all forwards on the bench.
Yeah. Well, Leeds fans are baying for blood here. They want penalty sin binning. But there's nothing illegal about that, is there?
No, absolutely not, no. And in terms of the reshuffle, Reece Martin may well play centre.
Sam Lissoni is coming onto the field, by the way. So we'll just have a look at the reshuffle here, Leeds. I think who's gone to the right wing? Is it Miller who's gone to the right wing? Anyway, let's just concentrate on what's happening before our eyes. Frawley with a kick. Hurrell tried to get to him. Very nearly did. Might have put him off, but it's a catch here by Blake, and Blake can bring it back straight into O'Connor. Two more there as well, ready to make that tackle. This is Makinson. Clark having a look, 3 to his left. Carted in by Sirenham. Wants to scramble to his feet quickly here. Clark now will bring it on. Bell now, back on the inside for Lees, who flies into that Leeds line at full pace. Clark again. This is Lomax. Conrad Hurrell can't shuffle it away because Leeds defenders are attaching themselves to him. So that's where that ploy ends, and there's one to go again. And St Helens in familiar territory here. They've been here a few times. Close-ish to that Leeds line with one to go. Dodd puts it high to the right side this time. Makinson and, well, they both try to get a hand on it, Makinson and Wellesby, but it's Leeds who have it safely back again.
Well, most of the kicks going to the far side, our left, as we're looking. They've come to the opposite side. They make the Leeds side move up the field and go at it in a slightly different fashion.
Castleford 18, Hull 6. And Lee are now 8-0 up at Huddersfield.
30 minutes on the clock. I think Saints will feel very comfortable. They give a penalty away, not back on side.
I think that might be for something that Dodd was chirping
offside,
the referees. Yeah. Oh no, just ahead of him, wasn't he? Just ahead of him.
Was he questioning the play of the ball? Maybe a dummy at the play of the ball.
But either way,
he's got to go when the ball's played.
It's a massively influential penalty in terms of getting Leeds away from that end of the field for the first time in a while, it feels. Now they have a chance to build. Frawley comes left. Miller can't get away from Conrad Hurrell.
That's a great tackle from Conrad Hurrell.
Both centres are at it at the moment. Heat-seeking out of the line, pinning their men.
Reads that very well.
Saints dominating possession at the moment, as you can see.
Yeah, look at that completion rate. Leeds Rhinos 63, 87 for St Helens.
But at the end of the day, it's still 6-6. Just a little bit of petrol being taken out of the Leeds tank, though, with the amount of work they've had to do with that ball in hand. But now they can set themselves. This is O'Connor. Left to Frawley. Step right, step left. Didn't know where he was going in the end. And just runs into trouble. Still about 25 metres away. So what kind of kick has Croft got here? And buys underneath it. He's being chased down. It's been knocked backwards, but Percival's there again.
Dave, you asked the question, what kind of kick are Leeds going to put in? They put the same kick every time. It's an end-over-end kick. They went up to challenge it then, but Saints are too good. That's too easy for a team in transition or who are that good at transition.
Well, Blake, I'm not sure if he's trying to win himself a penalty there, but it's not coming.
Third, move, Company, hold.
Atkinson's missed out. Bell comes to Lomax. Lomax stepping his way forward.
Move, Cam.
Leeds are doing a decent job here in not conceding yards. That was subject, of course, of conversation in the build-up. But in this set, again, they're just restricting St Helens. So they're going to have to kick from behind the 40-metre mark with Dodd.
James, give 10.
Roberts with a catch.
Play on now.
Miller's on his inside, should he need him, but he decides to take them on himself and runs it back towards that 30-metre mark.
Yeah, that reshuffle in the back line, Lewis Roberts, he's gone over onto the right, as we expected. Back row, Reece Martin, who's played a lot of his rugby league this year in the centre, has come over on this side in the centre. I don't like to see, when the Rhinos are coming away from trouble, there's a lot of one-out carries, a lot of players with no support. Contrast to what Saints are doing. There is movement everywhere, both sides of the ruck, in and around the ball.
Croft up to the line, Frawley, quick hands. Martin gets it away to Hanley. Hanley reaches behind him and tries to make something out of very little, and has done a reasonable job here of taking leads a little deeper in their opponent's half. Martin picks up, swings it back to the middle. Miller can't pick up a bouncing ball. It was aimed at his ankles, to be fair, but it's still a clumsy mistake.
Another mistake, another handling error. We make that 6 now from Leeds Rhinos. He's running away from the ball, isn't he? He's running away from the ball. He can see what he wants to do. He's got to get the ball first. "34 minutes on the clock, just coming up to 35. Saints will be comfortable. They've had a little bit of reshuffling to do. And see Johnny Lomax trouble with one of his digits.
I think he's having his finger relocated, it having been dislocated.
It won't go back in, I think. I read his lips then.
This will be a problem then.
In terms of reshuffle, Moses and Bai on the bench will slot in while they try and resolve that issue.
There he goes. For most of us, that's a fortnight in hospital. For Johnny Lomax, he'll just go off and with a little hammer and tap it back in or something like that, and then he'll be back on the field again.
Sit down, have a drink, let's tape it together. Stop being soft.
Big night this for Leeds. If they can win here, you look at their upcoming fixtures. Oh, Hull coming back as well. Cass 18, Hull 10. But if Leeds can get, and Lee winning 14-0 now at Huddersfield, good heavens. If Leeds can get over this, they've got Cass at home, Hull away, Lee at home, London at home in the next 4 matches. And you could see them picking points up there, or expecting to pick points up there.
Yeah, and then that league table has a very different complexion.
Penalty for St Helens.
For them. It's the same, isn't it? It's either a mistake with the ball, it's a lapse in concentration.
It's a high grab and an easy penalty. So really big 5 minutes to come here. St Helens will be looking to turn those stats that we saw earlier into points on the board. They'll be disappointed if they don't have a lead at half-time. It's taken in by Delaney in the first instance. An anxious-looking coach as Saints get nearer. Dodd and now Bell. Oh, it's a terrible pass from Bell, and Handley might be favourite to get there, and is. And it's St Helens who've just simply tossed away that advantage. And Leeds will be very happy recipients of the ball back again. Here's Martin.
That's great work from Ash Hanley. Really competed to get down on that ball. Bouncing balls, if your players are first to get down on a bouncing ball, that's a sign of good attitude.
And just as Saints were hoping to turn that statistical advantage into numerical advantage, well, if Leeds can get a score before half-time, my goodness, what does that do to the psyche of both sides? O'Connor, again, having to be patient here. Now he gets it. Inside to Frawley. Croft goes wide. Roberts takes it on the lead, cuts back on the inside, bounces off a couple of shoulders, but then is gathered in. 1 to go. 1 to go. Leeds finding themselves in a really good position here, the best they've been in a while, as Croft puts it high. Handley's underneath it. Makinson doesn't quite get there. Wellesby does and puts it dead, but there's a knock-on in the build-up, and St Helens will get it back.
Ash Hanley times his run. There's a little bit of a shuffle and a judder to make sure he's onside, and when he leaps up to contest that ball, the experienced Tommy Makinson is there. What a contest that is. As I said, Tommy Makinson, one of the best around, leaving, or announced he's leaving the club. Of course, St Helens were not in the cup last week, so he picked up that ban. He was allowed to miss that A-team reserve game, and as punishment, he had to get married, Dave.
I think that was O'Connor who's rattled in here, isn't it? Good effort. Here comes Hurrell. Bowls it away. Clark keeps it going. Now it's a little step here from Bell.
9 offloads for St Helens now, so St Helens good enough to get the ball away and create that second phase, and Leeds not good enough in contact.
So quick hands, Percival, but well done by the man who cuts him down there, Lewis Roberts, but St Helens' ambitions thwarted temporarily as Clark goes off on a run, and we know how dangerous that situation can be. But Leeds deal. Now it's the last. Dodd sticking it up. Sirenen's on the chase. Percival's on the chase. It's bounced off a Leeds shoulder. It's picked up by Blake. Blake now. 6 tackles to go. 1 minute and 50-odd seconds to play in this half. What a huge set of 6 this could be. Bell with a pass. Here comes Lees. Lees offloads it, and Bai carries it on. Has he smothered the ball over the line? Well enough to score. The referee backs back and points the finger. What a timely intervention from St Helens attacking Crom there. And what a huge moment in this game as well, so close to half-time.
They live and breathe for the moments in games where the grains of sand are just coming out of the hourglass. We've got a matter of seconds left in the half. It was a kick, it was a chase, it was a fumble. Lewis Roberts times his jump all wrong, the mistake is forced. And St Helens, in their element, at their best, players flooding through. Matty Lees throws a speculative offload. We make it the 10th offload of the game. He knows that there's going to be a player pushing up. He anticipates when he throws that pass, somebody's going to be there. One of my mates is going to be there. It's Morris and Bai.
Well, a powerful surge at the end from Moses and Bai. And what does that do to the balance of the game? Leeds are kept hanging on, but it's St Helens who finally pushed themselves into the lead. And there's a kick to come here that could see that a 6-point lead at half-time. He'll take all the time in the world here, Mark Percival. 11 years at St Helens. His kicking duties have been on and off down those years, but firmly in control of the tee at the moment. And it's almost a near certainty that he's going to kick this, according to that predictor. Leeds fans behind the sticks can only watch. Percival has a look. Then he strikes it very well and confidently, and St Helens do have that 6-point lead at half-time. Moses and Bai try right on the stroke of the interval as the hooter sounds. St Helens dominant in that first half in everything but on the scoreboard, but they've righted that right at the end. Half-time here. It is St Helens who lead Leeds by 12 points to 6.
Dave, Barry, thank you very much. Slow walk off the field for the St Helens players in this round 12 fixture for the Betfred Super League. A 6-point half-time lead over the Leeds Rhinos, who are desperate for a victory to propel them inside the top 6. For Saints, there is a position at the top of the table if they win this one. They went behind to this Ash Handley try, and then we had incident aplenty to talk about, which we will do after this break in the company of Danica Preem and John Wilkin. Here is Jenna with halftime news. Jenna.
Well, at halftime, Rowan Smith has asked his players to value possession, show intent, and show plenty of energy. As far as Paul Wellens goes, he's really happy with the 6-point lead at the break. He says Leeds are a very dangerous side, and there's a big 40 up ahead. But it is time to get back to your commentators. So here's Dave and Barry.
Thank you, Jenna. Well, two coaches looking on, wondering how this one's going to go in the next 40 minutes. Could be a big game in terms of this season. Remember, they are the two form teams of the Super League era. Down the years, Saints have won 10 titles, Leeds have won 8. There have been 28 grand finals, so that tells you how much those two have dominated. Wigan and Bradford, the other two grand final winners, of course, down those years. Are either of these two teams going to be grand finalists this year? Are either of them good enough to win it? Well, the next 40 minutes is not going to answer that question, but it is going to tell us how they go into the next few weeks from here. Barry, how do you see this developing now in this next 40?
It's a real tough one, because I think Saints, comfortable in that first half, will be relatively pleased with what they've done. They've took some energy out of the Rhinos. They've made them work hard coming away from the line. They've made them work hard defensively. So they're in a really good spot. For Leeds, they've got to rip that first half up, I believe. Go back to the plan that they started before a ball was kicked and the whistle was blown, and see how they get on in these next 40 minutes.
O'Connor had a dummy half, both with a little bit of disruption, of course. Joe Batchelor going off with that ankle injury, and Matty Russell with a knee/stroke head injury. To be fair to Brian, you can have both a knee injury and a head injury, can't you, at the same time? Oh, Leeds are a bit desperate here. The ball's gone to ground. Clark trying to get onto that and eventually rescued, but there's knock-ons aplenty in the build-up there. And Leeds starting with a big mistake here, and St Helens given the advantage.
Intensity and attention to detail. Matty Lees picking up where he left off last week, and a fumble and a mistake made by Lockie Miller. Come back to that Matty Russell question, Dave. I've got a theory on that, but we'll come back to it.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah,
Barry.
yeah.
Anyway, St Helens with a chance here. Try right on the cusp of the first half, and now they are playing dropsy. And Frawley has it back for Leeds.
Well done,
Who
Matt
wants
Frawley.
the ball?
Yeah.
Who wants the ball?
First down on a bouncing ball. I talked about that being a sign of good attitude. Well, the experienced number 7 secured possession for his side. Sloppy pass from James Bell, who's had a terrific first 40 minutes. We've hardly spoke about Lasoni with the ball. The beast from the bench normally makes an impact, and now he's made a mistake playing the ball.
Errors everywhere you look.
Yeah, he's got to regain his feet. He's got to be balanced to play that ball. He's falling. Yes, there's hands all over him. Yes, there's a slight push, but the onus is on the guy playing the ball.
Fixed hand over, boys. Get markers in. No, it's fixed.
So Saints have it back.
So Rowan Smith, Matty Russell, the difference between Matty Russell going off with a knee knock and a head injury assessment, if he's got both, if 2 head injury assessments happen in the same game, they can trigger that 18th man.
Up at square. Hold.
So it's more beneficial.
Here's Clark.
No suggestion of cheating.
2. Move.
There's his knee,
Place it
got
on
ice
it.
on it, but we are told there was a head assessment as well.
He was wobbly, there's no doubt about that.
He was smashed by Mark Percival, wasn't he?
And I think we saw in the Cast game last week.
This is the moment, look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah, heavy contact. We saw in the Cast game last round that Cast managed to use their 18th man because of a couple of head injury assessment failures.
This is Clark for St Helens. Now Wellsby. Edging their way back to familiar territory, and helped by another set of 6 here. So Bell can just take it in and lay a platform, because there's 5 more plays to come. And a really advantageous position gained once more by those with a red V. Dodd puts it back. Little dummy across by Umbai, and then straightened up with a big effort from Sirinen. Clark's waiting. Wellsby's just behind him. Percival comes firing in on the angle, gets the arm free for an offload and puts it back to Wellsby. And here comes Dodd again. They are cutting. Matotia is pushing to within the 10. Clark having a little look. Bell with a spring again, and a dummy, and almost cutting his way through. Leeds barely hanging on again. Wellsby now puts it back. It's Lees who crashes forward. 5 gone, 1 to go. Clark, slowish. Clark waits, delivers left. It's a twist by Sirinen, pops it off, and Clark's waiting. Clark's waiting, and it's another St Helens try. Just before the break, and now just after the break. And they seem to be, at the moment, in control.
Big involvement from Sirinen. Big, tall, 6'4", heavy, thick-set player manages to offload that ball to Darrell Clark, who's always around, always scheming and waiting for some scraps. Having a wonderful season in 2024. He passes that ball. He's looking at the ball. He never takes his eyes off where it's going to be. And Curtis Sirinen, whose father, Paul, celebrated his 59th birthday this week. Happy birthday, big fella. He'll be in Australia catching up on all the action. Curtis and Bailey, of course, over in Catalan. But great try.
4th of the season, 4th for his new club, Darrell Clark. He's not been a prodigious scorer of tries in the last few years. So that's a reasonable return from his point of view at this stage.
Isn't it a good buy, isn't it? Bringing him over from Warrington. I'm sure a few eyebrows were raised at the age and the miles on the clock of Darrell Clarke, but he suits Saints, they suit him, and he's managed to replace James Roby and add a new dimension to the way that this team played. And James Roby was on the field for Saints. Yes, they were hard-working and industrious, and the quality passes from dummy half were absolutely bang on, 10 out of 10 every time, but the difference that he brings, Darrell Clarke, is just dynamic around that. Play the ball.
So Percival to settle. Well, do Leeds have the heart to dig deep back to the well and get themselves back into the game, or does St Helens cut free from here? In terms of game time, that's 2 tries in 4 minutes. Percival, not the longest of run-ups, doesn't need to be when you're kicking as well as that. 18 points to 6, St Helens lead. And both sets of fans will be very keen to see what transpires from here.
It's something we talked about just before half-time, the amount of times St Helens had got their arms free, created second phase, that's 12 offloads for the home side to just 4 from Leeds Rhinos, but more alarmingly, they've gone in at half-time. No doubt they'd have talked about clamping the ball off and make sure there's no more offloads. Well, what, 5 minutes on the clock, not only have they conceded an offload, but it's led to a try.
So a couple of other games tonight, of course, in this 12th round of the Betfred Super League. Cass now 24 points to 10 against Hull FC. And Huddersfield have got points on the board against Lee. Huddersfield 4, Lee 14. By way of direct comparison, by the way, in terms of try scoring, this is the 12th round of the new season. That's St Helens' 56th try so far this year. Leeds have only managed 35. Fewer than 3 a game so far.
And there are people on this terraces that are complaining about the way that St Helens attack. When they're on, and they play that patience game really well. They play it better than most.
Well,
James Bell is
late footwork.
He's a great player, isn't he? He's got the run threat. He's got the pass. He's got the offload. He's tough in defence as well.
Dodd sticks it up. Miller's underneath it. Wellesby's on the chase. What a take by Wellesby! What a score! There's a fullback at the peak of his powers. Rose high, down he came, and the next was all about celebrating.
Incredible from Jack Wellesby. Times he's jumped to perfection, snatches it out of the hand of his opposite number, Lockie Miller, who stays rooted to the ground, expecting a tackle, expecting a collision. But Jack Wellesby, he's not thinking about anything else except getting hold of this ball and making a drive for the line. In any era, you can go back as long as you want. St Helens compete for every inch on the field. The competition is won, the determination to get over, and the tenacity, and the celebrations are smiles all round.
Well, there's a school of thought that's to say the man running onto that has the advantage because he can leap higher. But should Lockie Miller have done better?
Of course there is. If you know that's coming, couple of steps back, and then you create some momentum with those 2 or 3 steps. But I'm sure Lockie Miller, studs in the ground, was expecting a whack from Jack Wellesby. And that's the reason he never even left the ground. His body angle was catch the ball and get on the ground as quick as I can.
Well, there's some handy stats. 50th consecutive appearance, 4 tries in 4 now. And Percival looking to make it 4 out of 4 in terms of kicks at goal as well. And this is the least missable of the night. St Helens fans are finding their voice. Hasn't always been deafening when you come here this season. Hasn't always been the ebullient atmosphere that you would normally expect, but right now they're a lot happier than they were at just before 8 o'clock tonight, because they are beating Leeds by 24 points to 6.
And those 2 tries are arguably better than the first half tries, because those first half tries were off the back of mistakes in the Leeds Rhinos ranks. It's a brilliant take, isn't it? Fierce competitor, but the smiles tell you everything you need to know about his ability and his desire to win.
Well, in terms of game time, again, that's 3 tries in 9 minutes. This could, if Leeds don't dig in here, this could get really ugly from their point of view. And just point you back to last week when St Helens scored 52 unanswered points against Cass.
Yeah.
They've now scored 24 unanswered points against Leeds, and they're searching for more.
And there are people in the media saying that this St Helens side doesn't quite click and doesn't attack in the right way. They expect entertainment in St Helens. Not only do they want to win, they want to win with style and panache. So far, looks pretty good to me.
Yeah. Happy coach, even happier now when that hooter sounds to say there's another 6 tackles to go as Bell seeks the halfway line. And By gives way to Clark, who comes left to Blake, who carries one-handed. Croft grimly hanging on below. Another set of 6. You can see the frustration growing in Leeds ranks there. James McDonnell is giving away that extra couple of tackles.
It's like a vicious cycle. You lose contact, you lose collision, you can't clamp on, then you go in for a little bit of extra, that little bit of half a second, and then the referee blows 6 again.
Lee's down, Clark picks up, goes right, and By's standing waiting, got support out there. Wellsby's joining in again. Conrad Hurrell comes in at an angle, and there's some bravery there to keep a hold of him. Little skip and leap within 5 metres of that Leeds line. Clark spinning it back. Dodd scurries. Now it's with Sirinen. Sirinen with the offload. Percival! He's got an offload. Clark's waiting. Puts it over the top. Blake pats it back on the inside. Dodd now. Still got tackles in the bag here, I think. But Dodd, they want to finish it. Dodd with a kick. Oh, and Wellsby's knocked it on as he tried to chase it. I think the first touch was a knock-on. And so Leeds survive that scare, but only just.
Having a field day, aren't they? Players pushing forward, looking to get it involved. The mistake was by St Helens. Jack Wellsby nudges that ball forward, even though Tommy Macon does what you're supposed to do, play to the whistle. There's an intangible that you can feel and you can hear now. Saints playing towards that big massive bodies behind the sticks. It can't not pump your tyres up. It can't make you run a little bit extra, a little bit 5 or 10% harder, knowing that all those smiling, happy faces are willing you towards them.
Well, a few were willing to write them off this year, weren't they? But this game, at least, they are beginning to show a little bit of the old-fashioned stuff with ball in hand. Cass 30 points to 10 against Hull FC now, who's still only got that 1 win this year, Hull FC. And remember, they've conceded 50 points. What is it, 4 times this year? They'll be keen not to concede a half-century again, with plenty of game time left in that.
New coaching position for Hull now, watching every game, watching every involvement. There's a high tackle there from Matautia. Welcome relief for the Rhinos coming away from their own line. Gudemond driving forward. I don't know whether it's high contact or a shoulder charge.
So the penalty gives relief to Leeds here. That's what it was for.
Yeah.
Leeds desperate to score next. They simply have to score next, beyond any kind of debate. Letsky, good carry by him. Another set of 6, that'll help. Akers on the scene, at a dummy half. So 5 to go and 10 to cover. Slow, Frawley. Smith puts it back to Croft, and out it goes to Miller. And Miller looking to tantalise and tease, but 4 defenders attracted to him. Bang him down onto the green grass. And here's Newman, and this is Croft. And Smith now, they're creating a bit of numbers here, but Smith can't get through, he's lost the ball. It's a knock-on. Cheers of delight from those St Helens players in celebration of the fact that they've survived and got the ball back again.
That's brilliant defence again. And Bayou's come on to the field for Johnny Lomax. Never stops moving his arms, never stops trying to, first of all, halt Cameron Smith, and secondly, bring him down to the ground. He's made a massive impact since he's come onto the field. It's not just what he's done with the ball, His effort and energy in defence has lifted his players. A little bit rudderless from the Rhinos, but their energy in defence. St Helens is outstanding. 235 tackles the Rhinos have made so far, as opposed to 173. So plenty in the energy banks for the home side.
How are you feeling at this point in the game if you're one of those Leeds forwards, Barry, in terms of fatigue, in terms of what you've got left to draw upon?
Well, sometimes there's an anxiety when the scoreboard is going against you. You want to do something positive, but you don't want to take enough of a risk that it ends up being a negative, a mistake, as St Helens hand that ball over. But they've got to do something, haven't they? They've got to try something. But getting that risk to reward element, Matt Frawley.
It's good contact in
Yeah,
the tackle,
it is.
wasn't it? Yep.
It is. I think Jack Sinfield can count himself a little bit unlucky not to make the side this week. And Matt Frawley and his decision to pass that ball ultimately cost them a try, but
In the first half.
in the first half, but he's come out in the second half and put a couple of defensive efforts in. When you wear a number like 7 or 6, you cannot hide. You've got to keep going. You've got to verbalise and make sure you communicate with everybody around you, because people are relying on you. You can't go into your shell.
Smith looking to angle forward again to St Helens men across there, making sure he ain't travelling too far.
And in short, to
Sangare.
answer your question, Dave, it's not gone. That's what would have been going on in my game, in my mind, sorry. This game has not gone.
Ackers, Croft. This now is Lissoni. I've seen him making plenty of impact this season, and he's got a referee got scared then, didn't he?
His life flashed before him, Liam Moore.
He's certainly not going to tackle him.
No, don't run at me, please. That's what he said.
I'm not tackling you, mate.
I can remember being at the side of Terry O'Connor when he shouted something similar.
So Leeds with a platform. What can they make from this?
Move now! Back up.
This is Ackers measuring the situation. Back to Croft. Croft now puts it back, and Miller's involved and Newman's involved, but Percival wraps him up tidily, efficiently. Croft again. Smith. Sangare trying to burst. Good offload. Smith collects. St Helens swarming around him, making sure that situation doesn't become any more dangerous than it needs to be. So they've still got 3 to go here, Leeds. So they'll still fancy themselves, they'd hope. Croft, Miller, looking wide, and here's Roberts, and that is a finish by Lewis Roberts. There's a question of where his boots might have been.
Mate, we are on tackle 3. We have a try. He's confirmed he does ground the ball and stays in the field of play.
Grounding, and where his boots were. Let's hear from the video ref.
Okay, so it's tackle 3, on-field call of a try. We're checking grounding and whether he stays in field. Can we see camera 8, please, first? So we're slow on this, please. So we can keep moving towards the grounding. Still well in field at this point. Clearly well in field. Thank you, I'm still on a lead.
Oh, well, that's a really smart finish, isn't it? Excellent finish from Lewis Roberts.
My word, he's done well there, hasn't he?
And he has just given Leeds a glimmer, a hope. Maybe not quite an expectation at this stage,
No.
but a hope. They're only 2 scores behind now, if
Like
this
you
kick
said,
goes over.
Dave, like you said, they needed to get some points, otherwise that scoreboard could have gone against them heavily. He did remarkably well with virtually no space, Lewis Roberts. Wonga Blake trying his best to push him over the sideline.
Strong effort from the man who started in the centres, but is out of necessity playing on the wing. And here comes Martin to add a much-needed 2, but I think he's pulled it right across the face. He has. Never going to go over, so 24-10. So they're still 3 scores behind.
Well, I'm telling you, do not go anywhere for this final quarter now. Strap yourself in. Has this poked the bear? Has it made the beast angry? St Helens conceding a try. And has it given the necessary confidence to the Rhinos? 14 points difference on the scoreboard. It's been massively in favour of the home side. But can Rhinos score tries in bunches and make this a real contest?
Lee Ladd, Lewis Roberts, isn't he? All his family are big Lee fans. I wonder whether they're here tonight or whether they're watching their team playing against Huddersfield.
It's a good carry from Sangare. Although it was a scruffy offload, it was second phase that created the opportunity for the Rhinos.
Here's Roberts again, getting involved. Leeds having to dig deep. St Helens need to snuff this out as quickly as possible, this renewed energy that Leeds might have picked up from that score. Ackers coming right, they gallop. They take in as many yards as possible. A great offload there from Newman has got Ackers just about on the halfway line.
That's a great piece of possession after points. Almost 50 metres made with the ball. 2 offloads in the set.
Crawley with a dummy, takes on the line. Efficient defenders waiting for him. Now they're on the last. Miller sticks it high. Chases on. And it's, I think it was a Leeds hand that knocked it forward. And so St Helens not only get it back, they just get a little extra tackle in there as well.
Positive for the away side. We'll see what reaction with the ball the St Helens side have got. James Bell with hands on hips, just maybe taking a deep breath and getting ready for the last part of this game. 2 tries, you can see the sequence there.
The second half, those 2 tries, that brace from St Helens fairly quickly after the turnaround as you'd think put them in charge, but Leeds having a say about that. Miller's going to have to
from Wellsby.
Get back here. He's got ready and waiting St Helens players to stop him before he can really get moving.
That's brilliant from Wellsby. From the moment that ball goes on, and look at him work from...
Roberts, the hero, has suddenly dropped the ball.
Wellsby again, working hard from Marker, putting pressure.
So St Helens, the noise levels lifting considerably inside the stadium because suddenly they have a chance. It's a simple catch, but an easy drop. And as a result, this is where St Helens find themselves. Percival tries to squeeze between a perceived gap that closes quickly. It's back with Darrell Clark. Not many on the left, but one of those is Sirinen. Clark again, having a look left. Is Shield not going to go the same way again, is he? No, he's not. Back to Bell. Bell with a flat pass. It's Noah Stevens, I think that is, who's on the field from the interchange bench, who very nearly had a try to his name. And bounces off defenders, but he's gathered in. Saints want to go. Hurrell maybe lost count. Wanted a bit of glory himself here. Drags himself towards that line, and he's just held up short. So if you're going to hand the ball over, that's not a bad place.
A good period of possession, wasn't it? All came from that work from Jack Wellsby. Chased the kick, chased from Marker, spooked Lewis Roberts to the point where he dropped it. And you can feel them now, St Helens now. They're just starting to drop down a gear.
Watch the energy in this set. Can Leeds get themselves out of this situation? Martin picks a path and offloads. And that's helped, because Leeds are beyond the 10. First job done.
A good sign for St Helens here. Noah Stevenson, who had such an impressive debut over at St Helens. George.
Yeah, you talk to people behind the scenes at St Helens, they talk very highly about Noah Stevens.
And George Delaney, their combined age is the same as James Roby when he retired.
Well, that's a good chase. Good chase by Roberts. Redeeming himself a little from that early mistake. Oh, and a beautiful step. And off he goes. Blake's off and running. Percival in support. Percival cuts back on the inside. Suddenly realises he should have stayed outside. He would have been a certain try scorer, because that gave the cover the chance to get across and put him down. But St Helens still going, and Sirinen scores. The roar goes up before the finger is pointed. They knew, we all know now, Saints have another. And Curtis Sirenan is the latest across that whitewash.
Going through the gears, St Helens now. Hit the accelerator button for the last couple of minutes. He's had a great game, hasn't he, Curtis Sirenan? With and without the ball, strength of carry, step, acceleration. And you're right, so many options going through his head, but I do think the fullback Lockie Miller did a good enough job. But from this point on, he's too big and too strong, isn't it? Both players plant the heels. Miller trying to stop him, put the ball down. And Brodie Croft, well, he's trying to outmuscle a much bigger man and ends up round the ankles of Curtis Sirenan. Brilliant game from the big fella.
I think he enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Signs there that he was very pleased with his latest work. Disallowed in the first half by the video ref, but no denying him this time. He's an athlete, isn't he?
Isn't he just, yeah.
Second try of the season.
He
was a standoff earlier in his career, wasn't he, Curtis Sirenan?
My word. Big man. I remember the offload, let's not forget. Darrell Clark's try came from an offload. Just big men on the edges, running at smaller men. It was Brodie Croft who tried in vain to hold him. That's where they make the money. Big back rows, running at inside shoulders, creating second phase. And the Rhinos can hear the chants.
It's a happier St Helens than it has been for a while. Percival, 4 out of 4 so far tonight. Just a little bit of a run-up, and same result. 5 out of 5, 30 points to St Helens, 10 for Leeds. And we're back in the territory of possible rout.
Yeah, even though the big back rower gets over for his try, he'll credit and thank those two players, Percival and Wonga Blake, who set up that field position. Great to see so many young faces on the terraces at St Helens, appreciating the win, and tonight appreciating the style that they've done it in.
Stay behind, boys.
Well, they're going short, they want it back, they need it back, but they've given it away. And St Helens are given the best possible starting position from an opposition kickoff. Makerson coming up with the ball.
You made the point about Castleford, Dave, and in the final stages, we've got 15 minutes left of this game. They've got to create that wall again, Leeds Rhinos, otherwise this scoreline may well get embarrassing for them.
From Stevens, he's been playing at Swinton this year. They've got a dual reg agreement with Swinton at St Helens. He's had a couple of appearances there, impressed there. Barry said off the bench against Castleford a couple of weeks ago. Percival.
4. Move now. Hold.
Clark having a look around and buys the man in the middle. Flat to Stevens.
5. Move, Mikhail. Hold. Roll 5.
Last play. Dodd sticks it high. Miller's had a look to see if his winger's coming in, and he got that assurance. It's taken by Handley, but he in turn is steamrolled by that Saints chasing defensive line, and everything about St Helens is looking switched on at the moment.
You can see from the reactions of the players, they know what they're doing. They're managing to execute it. There was big congratulations from Conrad Hurley. He knew that the chase was good, the timing on the tackle was good. And look at that, only a handful of metres made on tackle 3. And they've done that all evening, and that's the way that they like to play the game. Just take the air out of the lungs of their opponents through hard defence and punishing attack.
Oh, it's Croft, it's bounced off the wrong man. Percival picks it up. I think another Leeds hand on that. The referee's happy to play on from here. Here's Blake.
0.
Well, look where we are. St Helens back in possession, back in prime position. Clark looking for some eager runners, and there's plenty of those. Delaney the latest. And tidy from Leeds. St Helens looking to take advantage. Stevens dragging and pushing. A few metres after contact made there, and a ripple of appreciation for the young fella from around the terraces here at St Helens. Dodd puts it out. Welsby's involved. Cuts out pass. Wonderful. Tommy Makinson never turns down an invitation like that. Nod of the head. His 200th try for St Helens. Tommy Makinson. And it's a wonderful finish to a wonderful pass, and what is turning into a wonderful St Helens performance.
Sheer class from St Helens. Capitalising on mistakes. You cannot give the ball away cheaply for a team like St Helens. Accuracy of passes, players running onto the ball. Talked about the cut-out pass and the way that Jack Welsby has developed that skill over the last few years. You know that Ash Hanley has two players to deal with. He thinks the ball is going to go across him, but if it goes to the centre, he's got to go in and make that right shoulder tackle. It goes across his face, and Tommy Makinson, what a great player he has been for St Helens. Golden Boot winner, of course, in 2018, but one of the best players and one of the best try scorers and wingers of the Super League era.
His career goes on, as you were saying earlier, his career goes on in the south of France next year, but he was awfully emotional, wasn't he, when he announced that he was leaving St Helens at the end of this season. Talked about what a wonderful club it was.
It forms such a big part of your life when you start, and you know, well into his 30s here, he's had a decision to make. He's going to see a different side of rugby league. He's going to get a different challenge in a different country. We've already seen what it's done for Tom Johnson and the way that he's got better with all those things going around in Catalan. And let's face it, who would not want to live in the sun? What's it?
They had that reputation, didn't they? It was a great place to finish your career. A soft landing.
No,
not under Steve McNamara.
Not under Steve McNamara. You come here and you come here to work.
Yeah.
And we'll get results off the back of that hard work.
Grand finals, Challenge Cup finals tell you about the work ethic in the south of France at the moment. And Percival's kick will... Oh, it hits the post. So 5 out of 6, but 34 points to 10. And there's a happy coach. There's a
there's
less
some
happy
contrast
coach.
there, isn't there, between those two backroom staff. This is just a glorious ball from fullback to winger. Tommy Makinson gives it the nod, gives it the big dive.
Stay behind, boys, please.
Bit of Hollywood there from Tommy, but he deserves that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
2 fingers in the air to represent that figure he's passed on 200.
Move down! Find me, lads.
Paulington. Hull FC showing a bit of character. Cas 30, Hull FC 22. Offside against Leeds. So another easy get out of that end of the field for St Helens. 10 minutes left to play. Off they went too quickly. Starting gun hadn't fired.
Keep that discipline now, lads. Last 10.
10 minutes for St Helens. And the Saints players will be thinking, if they're not on the score sheet, I want to try.
Yeah.
And if they are on the score sheet, I want a couple.
Fill your boots, might be the mood.
Move down!
Leeds desperate not to let things unravel still further. Clark, Percival steps away, support inside and out, goes inside, and here comes Welsby with another. Oh, they're having fun tonight now. They're putting smiles on faces. Big relief, big performance, and a big win is what they're leading towards.
Shot side play, he deserves that, Jack Welsby. Worked hard all evening, supporting the ball, running with players whether they're coming away from their own try line or not. You can see he's loitering around the back of the play of the ball. And when Mark Percival breaks the tackle, you can see a retreating defender. Harry Newman doesn't get anywhere near. And Jack Welsby celebrates in front of his adoring fans. Real mess around the play of the ball for the Rhinos. Nothing set for the away team, but Jack Welsby, he's been tremendous tonight. we do have metrics on what players do with the ball, and we'll often reference that. We'll often say that, you know, George Delaney, 131 metres, that's what he does with the ball. We don't always reference what players do off the ball. Jack Welsby sprints all around the field, whether it's to do a little bit of work in defence and be where he's supposed to be, or whether it's trying to anticipate where the ball's going to be. You can see big smiles from him because he's been rewarded.
So Percival readying himself for what he hopes will be his 6th success of the night. This to take his team to 40 points. And over it goes, and that takes them to a century in 2 games. 40 points to 10 tonight. What was it, 60 points to 4 against Castleford last week? This is a St Helens team that's not playing well, isn't scoring points, Barry?
Exactly. As I said, some of our friends in the media saying that there's a weird atmosphere at St Helens. Well, not tonight. And I would say...
To be fair, there has been a weird atmosphere at times.
It has at different parts, but the patience game that Paul Wellens plays, if it gets the result, he's not interested, because it will benefit on him on nights like this. Just going back to that break, and we obviously were distracted by the work that Mark Percival puts in when he breaks the line, but there was some wonderful deception around the play of the ball from Darrell Clark. There's been some great performers in St Shirt. It's going to be a difficult choice making the man of the match selection tonight.
Be interesting to hear what coaches and players from both sides have to say at the end of this as well, so don't go anywhere, because Brian and the team will be analysing this, and we will get some interesting reaction, I'm sure. Welsby, 2 tries tonight, would love a hat-trick. 6 minutes of the game remaining. Clark, and by Stevens.
5. Move up a square, back now, mate. Sam, come on, work hard. Go 5.
Last play.
Okay.
Kick away from
Give him
Dodd.
10. Daz, give 10.
Got the attention of
James.
McDonald, but still got it
Well
away.
now.
Here comes
Keep
Roberts.
him low.
Little
Surrender!
slip as he tried to change direction, made him
Stand!
an
Hold it,
easier
lads.
target
Hold.
by those St Helens defenders.
Ben Davis gets the last couple of minutes on the field now. He'll be looking to work hard defensively and hopeful that he can get on the scoreboard too.
2.
Paul Wellens just leaving
Yeah,
some of those players on, giving them a bit more minutes. You can see George Delaney's had a big shift. I don't think he's gone off since he come on off the bench. So he'd probably up there 60 minutes plus, and then Noah Stevens, who does look like he's fatigued a little bit, is getting more game time because Paul Wellens can afford to leave him on.
4. Move, Lewis.
just a reminder that Joe Batchelor went early in the game because of an ankle injury that doesn't look great in terms of swift recovery.
Play on. Lost.
It's
Lost into
lost
the man.
and went forward. And St Helens already missing those forwards, as Jenna was mentioning earlier. Walmsley, Knowles, Wingfield, Whitley, Parsi. But the young fellas who've come in,
And that's what St Helens are really, really good at, making sure those next cabs off the rank are up to the standard. Curtis Sirinen getting huge applause from the sideline. I think he's had a massive game. Big numbers, big stats, but big influence on the game, and his coach is telling him, job well done, mate, have a sit down.
yeah.
On the line,
But
boys,
those younger
please.
players, the luxury that Paul Wellens has got is he can put them into a game like that, even though all those players are missing. Yes, they are missing, but the quality around means he's not missing his first choice half-backs, his spine. He's got somebody like Curtis Sirinen in the forward who can lead by example, and that means Noah Stevens,
Follow me now, Sam. No
George
early.
Delaney can see what it looks like when it's supposed to be.
And they're going top tonight, of course, St Helens. Let us not forget that. They've played a couple of games more than Wigan and one more than Warrington at the moment. Points difference as well.
What a game that is, Woodsy, next week. Catalan at home. That'll be some atmosphere.
3 on the mark.
There are 200 plus points difference at the moment, 205 plus points difference, St Helens, so that's healthy.
4.
Hull
Move
unbeaten. Full time that, Cass 30, Hull FC 22. So still just the one win for Hull, and that's a big one for Cass in terms of lifting them away from that bottom end of the table. 3 minutes to go here. St Helens hungry for more. Dodd, Wellesby, numbers, Hurrell shrugs off, or doesn't quite shrug off, but gets the pass away, but it's forward. It's a forward pass.
Yeah, Ash Hanley comes in and shuts that play down, does his best to make it scruffy, and then Reece Martin, they're great mates, Reece Martin and Conrad Hurrell.
Inside, mates.
One smiling, and the other one isn't.
No penalties now. No penalties, boys.
So Leeds get possession. They've got some big games now, haven't they? Cass winners tonight, and Leeds play Cass next week, and that's always a big game, isn't it?
Dave,
that's going to be massive for Leeds.
Castleford don't have to be playing well, they don't have to be winning to go to Headingley and put in a good performance. It's the biggest game of the year for Castleford Tigers, let me tell you.
2. Move!
Then they've got Hull away,
Straight out!
then Lee at home.
All weight!
Then London at the end of that sequence.
A tightrope just being walked at the moment in terms of where they want to be this season, and those next 3 games.
Lee won't be an easy game.
They have to win all 4.
Lee won't be an easy game. You look at those teams and you think, yeah, they're winnable games, but Lee Leopards, with Pape coming back into the side, they're a different proposition now. Tom Amon has been exceptional over the last couple of weeks.
Lissoni here getting a little ragged there, just frustration.
And for me, that sums the game up. So many mistakes, 15 errors. 3 times they give 6 again away. The missed tackle count is 44. That is horrible to look at. And it's the 4th penalty that they conceded.
It's not a new malaise for Leeds. It's been going on for a few years now. They need to fix it up. Nothing to say that they can't fix it up, and fix it up this season, of course. But they need to fix it up.
But it's just mad to give a penalty away whilst you're playing the ball, Dave. Those are the things that a coach can't do anything about.
Taken in by Delaney. Delaney sets a platform. 10 metres out. They can work either side with 5 tackles to go, but they need the ball to do that. And Noah Stevens drops it, and Leeds have it back. What kind of ambition do they have now in the final 50 seconds of the game? Minds scrambled. Lungs emptied by all the work they've had to do throughout the match. And they find themselves on the wrong end of an embarrassing scoreline, really. 40 points to 10.
3. Move! Back up.
I saw the sign earlier, you never write Saints off, and we've seen so much in Super League down the year that at this stage of the season you never write anybody off, do you? Because they can embarrass you. Predictions at this point, but Leeds need to improve quickly. Here's Miller.
4. Move, Matty! Back now, back. Hold.
Ackers. Can you hear the countdown maybe as Ackers tries to go out a dummy half? This will be the last play if he can get it out. No, he can't. Referee's blown his whistle before Ackers could play the ball. St Helens winners by a distance. 40 points to 10 tonight. They have done a number on their old rivals Leeds. Tight at half-time, 12-6, but in the second half they've simply run away with it, and Leeds have got a lot of fixing up to do on the back of this result. For the 3rd time this season, Saints have beaten the Rhinos. It's finished St Helens 40, Leeds Rhinos 10.
We will talk shortly about the Leeds Rhinos, Danica Preem and John Wilkin. First, St Helens and Paul Wellens. I would suggest to you that win, those 2 points, and the manner of the performance should quell any murmurs of discontent here at the Totally Wicked Stadium.
Absolutely. St Helens are outstanding there. They look like they had the drive, the determination. They look like they want to be on the field, and the energy they brought then, you know, that was unstoppable. They were absolutely fantastic. You can't follow anything that they did. Yeah, there's a few bits and pieces there, but that's what they needed, isn't it?
Very difficult to dish up a perfect performance, and I'm not going to say that was a perfect performance. but I'll tell you what, it was pretty good for a side that people were questioning.
Yeah, I just think, like I said about St Helens, the most important part of the season for me was the next 8 to 12 weeks. And not just winning games, but winning them with some panache and style. And I thought, do you know what? They didn't structurally break Leeds down by, you know, anything fancy, but instinctive rugby, hard running, aggressive running lines, and some instinctive support play. I thought that was the difference for them.
Top marks for St Helens and Darrell Clark tonight. What about the Leeds Rhinos? The boos ringing out from the Leeds Rhino supporters behind us here at the Totally Wicked Stadium.
Just want to turn up and make 15 errors and expect to compete in a game. Mental. Did it last week against Catalan. Like, just give the ball away. Like, Lockie Miller, give the ball away. Just give the ball away. And then I think, well, why would you even expect to compete here?
By way of comparison, in the round 5 meeting at Headingley, they pushed St Helens all the way for 40 at least, threw everything at them, lost the game 18-8. I would suggest to you on that scoreline, are Leeds Rhinos getting worse?
Well, when they play St Helens, they definitely are. You know, 3 times, and every time we've seen a decline in their performance, and this one today is the worst of them yet. It's as if they came and they're already defeated. You know, the body language is huge, I think, and Leeds Rhinos looked deflated before they even came out.